Hello, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm probably best known for this book here called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'm very happy to be talking for Richard and Veronica Tan of Success Resources and this National Achievers Congress. Because, believe it or not, the Tans and Success Resources were the first time I ever presented Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I believe this was in 1996. That's how long ago it was. So it's almost 25 years, or it is 25 years. And so I want to thank Richard and Veronica Tan and Lydia and Douglas and all the whole Success Resources team, because they helped give me a start years and years ago when I first came out with this book, or I first presented Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I thank you all. And, this has been a horrible time, this COVID-19, or whatever it is. And, some people did worse and some people did better. But that's business. So what we're going to be talking about today is what you can do. I've been preparing, let me show you this cover of this book here. It's called The Capitalist Manifesto. And the Capitalist Manifesto is very simply this. It comes out November 10th, 2021. And it's been 2 years in the works. It's been one of the hardest books I've had to write because, as you know, the world has changed dramatically. So I'm going to talk today about what's going on in the economy today. And as I said, our schools teach us nothing about money. And one of the things we have to study about money is, they teach us nothing. You go to school, you get a job, you work hard, and you have a retirement plan, you buy some real estate, and you hope to get rich. Well, that was my poor dad. But this is why the economy is in very serious trouble today, and why back in 1997 I published this book here, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and why in 1996 we came up with the cash flow board game, and in 1996 I first spoke to the Success Resources at the National Achievers Congress. So it's been a long time, but I'm still on the same mission here. But anyway, this is what's happening right here. Okay? This may not mean much to most people because most people have no financial education. But the reason this date here is really important, as I was writing a book called The Infinite Return, is how the rich make money without money, something happened on this date. Who knows what happened on September 17, 2019? Anybody? September 17, 2019 is one of the biggest days in financial history. And what happened on this day, the repo market collapsed. The repo market stands for the repurchase market. It doesn't mean repossession. It means the repurchase market. It's the repurchase market is where the biggest banks in the world do business. So that's why on this date here, there was a crash. And I'm writing this other book, and I said, oh my God, this is a very important, there's something very big happened here. So why September 17, 2019 was important was because there was a crash in 2007. And that led to the subprime market crash of 2008. And the reason that's an important date was the repo market crash, the repurchase market crash, but they blamed the subprime borrower. In other words, they blamed the poor people for the crash. And that's what happens when you have a school system that doesn't teach you about money, and a school system run by basically Marxists and communists. So if you understand those differences, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. So the reason this date is a very important date here is when you study real finance, in America, we have a thing called the Federal Reserve Bank. It is a central bank. It's a very important term because communism and Marxism depend upon centralized control of the economy. So the Fed, which was started in 1913, is part of Marxism. So the reason this is important is the Fed has one department in here, and it's called the repo market. And that crashed on September 17th, 2019. Nobody heard about it. But again, the last time it crashed was 2007, which led to the subprime crash, and the whole market's come down. So nothing happened here. So the question, why was this so important? Why was I working on one book called The Infinite Return? I said, this happens, and nothing happened. So I started to study this whole thing, and then what there is up here in the world of money, this is called the shadow banking system. There are commercial banks. They're made up of Wall Street, things like this. HSBC, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, and those guys. So what happened when this crashed here, what the Federal Reserve Bank did, so the crash was in the repo market. The Fed then just gave money to all these big banks all across the world. HSBC took some, Bank of Commonwealth of Australia. They had to pump the bank because the whole system was about to come down with the house of cards. But nobody heard about it. So I'm watching this whole thing. I'm working on this book called The Infinite Return. So the reason I created this book here called Capitalist Manifesto, I said, I better start telling the world what I really know about money. So this happened, COVID happened, Trump gets impeached, the economy collapses, they shut down the world, everybody has to wear masks. I'm not saying COVID-19 is fake or all that. I'm just saying there's something fishy about it. I had COVID-19. It's not that bad. All I did was take hydroxychloroquine, and I sat in the sun and took long walks. It just felt strange, so I've had it. So I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm just saying it sounds fishy that it comes together at the same time. So what happened, the repo market collapses. This stands for repurchase. Think of the repo market as a pawn shop. So if I was going to borrow money, I would go to the bank and I say, oh, here's my wristwatch. If you lend me $10, I'll leave you my watch. That's what the repo market is. So these guys here, they pledge, they give money to the big commercial banks like HSBC, and the banks pledge back to the Fed U.S. Treasuries. That's the pure security. So everything was fine, everything went along, and the economy kept collapsing as COVID-19 shut down everything. And I thought it was really strange that doctors would criticize, say, there's something strange about this COVID, and then they get censored, they got fired, you have to wear masks, and I'm going, what the heck's going on here? So the economy is crashing, and they keep pumping trillions this way, trillions. So I'm watching all this. They're giving people free money. They're paying people not to come to work. It's just going this way. I mean, trillions in US dollars. And this is what they should be teaching at school. So anyway, something happened on April of 2021. And this is what I want to talk to you about, because this is where the future kind of lies, where we are today in 2021, and why being part of National Achievers is very important, is because you want to be prepared for what is coming. So what happened in April is it went this way. Again, it goes back to the Fed, but it goes to another department of the Fed, and the other department is called the like I said, most people have never heard about this date, and they certainly haven't heard about this date here. So what happened is trillions went this way, and today trillions are coming this way. So the question is, how long can this market stay up with real estate, the stocks, the bonds, and all of this, you know, they're trying to keep putting money in, but the money is coming out. That's the problem we face today, and that's why to be part of NAC right now is very, very important, because there's going to be a lot of changes in the next 10 years. And I'm glad you're here because being prepared for it. So what's happening now is the money is flowing out. And what the US government is doing which is the Treasury Department, is they're pumping money straight into the markets. This is called Marxism. It's going to go to what's called UBI, Universal Basic Income. They're giving money straight into the people because they don't want rioting in the streets. So what's happening in the world today is rioting all over the world. So we're in a very tumultuous time. So the thing so anyway, it went from here to here, and just today, I forgot what today's date is, but it's July, and President Biden says they're now giving people with kids money directly. This is a little technical point here. Before, the only way money got into the economy was the people down here, mom and dad, they had to go to the bank to get the money. But what happens when reverse comes this way, people can't go there, so the government had to give it this way. That's what's going on as I talk to you today. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? So with that, I'll be talking about what I've been doing. Because like I said, ever since I did the cash flow game, I presented Rich Dad, Poor Dad in Singapore in 1996. Nothing has changed, except this has gotten worse. And the financial situation in the world for many people is getting worse and worse and worse, and that's why you're going to see rioting continuing to increase. So that's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So this is Rich Dad, Poor Dad right here. This is just the basics. And I know some of you have seen this before, but this is why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is what I was talking about in 1996. Is all Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book on accounting. That's all it is. So this here is income, expense, asset, liability. So there's three financial statements: income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow. Can we put this inside the... So when you look at the cash flow board game, this is the financial statement from the cash flow board game, and this is what you see inside Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Please place all that in together. So this is the basis of financial education. You don't have to go to college to know this. I can teach you like this right now. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. And I learned this as a kid playing Monopoly. And I would, my rich dad, I'd go to his office. He was my best friend's father. My poor dad didn't know any of this. He's a PhD from Stanford, University of Chicago, and Northwestern. Those school teachers know nothing about money. That's why they're Marxists. Not bad people, but they just think like Marxists. They want to give people money. So I go to my rich dad, and he starts playing Monopoly with me. And it's a very simple formula. To win Monopoly is 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. That's all I have to do. So today I own 8,000 rental units, several hotels, several businesses, and all this. But this is the key to my success, and why I'm talking to you today, is that if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I said savers are losers. Why would you save money? And this is going on. Savers are losers because this is what's going on as we speak today. Money goes in, money comes out. These guys don't even need money. If you and I go to the bank, they just print it and give it to you. It's fake money. So for all of these years, I've been going to people, and I don't save money. What I hold in my asset column those are my money. Gold coins, silver coins, and today, Bitcoin. The reason I do that is because I don't trust the system. If you trust it, fine, that's up to you. But years ago, when I was flying along in Vietnam, flying to Hue in 1972, I saw communism. The financial systems are run by Marxists. It's called Keynesian economics. I'm probably going to get deplatformed for that. But anyway, I don't trust the system here. But I do trust gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Why? It's because they're outside the banking system. As I said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, savers are losers. I don't save US dollars. I save gold, silver, and these are coins. I don't like stocks, because stocks are paper. Now you can, I'm not saying don't buy stocks. I'm just saying I don't trust these guys. I don't trust the stock market, I don't trust the bond market, and I don't trust my government, and I don't trust the Federal Reserve Bank. So ever since Vietnam, I started buying gold. I bought my first gold coin in Hong Kong. It was a South African Krugerrand. I own silver, and today I own Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin at 9,000 a coin, so I'm still in the money there. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to come down to about 24,000 US, and I'll buy more of it. But always remember this, you make your profits when you buy, not when you sell. And today a lot of people say, well, should I buy this, should I buy that? You should have bought it a long time ago, is what I'm trying to say to you. But anyway, this is really where I get rich. And this here is central banking. This is DeFi, decentralized finance. And so I've been decentralized since 1972, I guess. You know? I just don't trust these guys. So if this crashes, I don't really care. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. So today what I'll be talking about is what can you do? And if you haven't done anything yet, I would read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because this is all it is. It's a book on accounting. That's it. So it's really, really simple. Those who read the book, you already know this. It goes into financial literacy, the definition of words and the words you speak. So assets, the biggest mistake is people, especially, I don't know why people think their house is an asset, but your house is a liability. But they teach you to say, my house is an asset. But if you understood financial literacy, you could see that money comes in, this is your job here, and money comes in, and money goes out this way. So it goes out through a thing called your mortgage. So the cash is flowing out. So definitely what this is saying is liabilities take money from your pocket. So if you have a house or a car, generally they take money from your pocket. Now, if I have 8,000 houses here, they're putting money in my pocket. So the big mistake that people make is they call a liability, their house, an asset, and I use these things as my assets. So the mistake again is called financial literacy. Can you read a financial statement? And the only way if you know if something is an asset or a liability is via a financial statement. That's why I've always said to people in this book here, why A students work for C students. A students think their house are assets. That was my point out. Very smart guy, but he didn't know his house was a liability. And my rich dad just laughed at him and said, your house is a liability. But your father thinks it's an asset. And that's the main reason the poor and rich get bigger, the gap gets bigger, is because poor people called liabilities assets. They have cars, a liability. What are kids? Assets or liabilities? Oh, I got 6 kids. Well, to me, they're big liabilities. They may be God's gift to you, but they're expensive. And they don't get cheaper. They get more expensive. So the reason people are struggling is very simple: financial literacy, the definition of the word here. The other thing, too, is that buy a house that goes out through the mortgage. The biggest expense for most people is this word here. Tax. Check this out. If you have a job, before the money even gets to you, so this one goes to the bank, this goes to the government. You know, your taxes are taken right off. Another thing, too, is what you call your retirement plan. So in America, they're called 401ks or IRAs. The money comes in, and it goes to Wall Street. It's not that hard, sports fans. If they just taught you this in school, it's the definition of assets and liabilities, and where cash flows. That's the difference. Okay, how am I doing? How much time have I burned? Oh, good. Okay, so again, what they tell you to go to school, get a job, you pay taxes, buy a house because it's an asset and you pay the bank, and then you put yourself in a retirement plan and you give it to Wall Street or to whatever you give it to. Doesn't make sense to me. So I don't have a job. I have 8,000 houses. I have businesses. I have real estate. What else do I have? Oh, and then I have this. So the cash is flowing this way. Notice one thing. It misses this here. I know some of you go, you have to pay tax. No, you don't. Not if you have financial education. I'm not saying do it illegally, just do it legally. So it was Karl Marx that said if you want to destroy, you want to grind the middle class, you hit them with inflation and taxation. Karl Marx. You want to destroy the middle class, you hit them with inflation, which is this, and taxation. That's what's happening to people. And then what's happening is when they keep raising prices, it makes it harder and harder and harder for people to survive. So when I look at the homelessness is just growing across America like weeds. And the reason for that is not that people don't have jobs. They just can't afford a home. They can't afford a place to live. So many people live in tents or homeless shelters, but they still go to work. They just can't afford a house because all these years they've just been printing money. And the rich got richer here, but people that went to school, they got a job, they save money, they pay taxes, they get out of debt, they call their house an asset, and they save cash. That's when the gap gets bigger and bigger. So this is financial education. So what can you do? Well, what you can do depends upon you. I do not recommend you do what I do. I do not. What I do is too hard. For most people, they cannot do what I do. But I tell people what I do. So I'll tell you the differences here. Is the reason I make so much money is I have businesses, I have 8,000 rental properties, and I keep this, I minimize my tax, and I minimize my liabilities. And that's why we created the cash flow board game, because if you can look at the cash flow board game here, we put clips of people playing. So what you're doing is you're actually doing something. You're not sitting there listening to me. I mean, it's stupid. If you listen to me right now, you get more confused. So the thing that I was taught to teach by was a woman named Maria Montessori of the Montessori school system. And she said it best. She says, what the hand does, the mind remembers. So when you're playing the cash flow board game, your hands are doing this. You're actually moving pieces around and all this. So I'll say it again. As Maria Montessori said at the Montessori school system, a brilliant teacher, says what the hand does, the mind remembers. But in school, you sit there like this. And only the A's do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. They're the stupid people. You know, I just go and do it. Why would you let a school teacher tell you what to do? That'd be like, that's the story here. Why would I let my poor dad, a PhD from Stanford, Northwestern, and University of Chicago, tell me what to do? He was poor. Why let poor people teach you? Why raise your hand and say, oh, give me the answer, tell me what to do? What Rich Dad did, just played Monopoly. I started doing my own real estate deals, started putting my own projects together and all this. I could do it. I made a lot of mistakes. What he said, teachers, don't make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the stupider you are. And what Rich Dad said, the more mistakes you make and you learn from them, the smarter you get. So if you understand the differences between rich people and poor people, don't listen to school teachers. Get your college degree. But if you do what they do, most are poor. That's crazy. It's nuts. So anyway, I listened by Rich Dad. He was a man, and he taught me I actually have to do this stuff. So this is what Maria Montessori is saying. What Maria Montessori is saying, what the hand does, the mind remembers. So basically, in education, there are four intelligences. I couldn't spell either. Okay. So intelligence number one is mental. Now, a lot of people who are good mentally do really well in school. Teacher, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Give me the answer. Give me the answer. I'll memorize it. I'll give it back to you. It means I'm smart. Stupid. That's stupid. Why would you do that? So you have mental, then you have the other intelligence is emotional. Don't make mistakes. Don't play it safe. Get a secure job. It's fear, or fear of missing out. I don't know what you guys call it in Singapore, but price is going up. I'm going to chase it. I got to catch up. So emotions run you. Emotion is the most powerful force in education, because if you don't do something, you fear making mistakes. You don't learn anything. So the reason my poor dad was poor was because he didn't make any mistakes. He had all the right answers, but he was terrified of making mistakes. And that leads to the third intelligence, which is physical. You have to do something. My God, you have to do something. So, don't make mistakes, so you do nothing here. You know, in the real world of money, you get paid for what you can do. For example, I pay my dentist because he or she can fix my teeth. If I said, I'm a dentist, but I don't want to fix your teeth, I don't want to pay. You have to do something. And the people who don't make any mistakes, they're the poorest people of all. That's why Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about a man who made a lot of mistakes because he wasn't afraid of making mistakes. Yeah, everybody hates it, but you still learn from your mistakes. My poor dad, because he was so afraid of making mistakes, he had memorized all the right answers. He made no mistakes. He couldn't do anything. So when he lost his job, you found out how poor he was. And the fourth intelligence is spiritual. You know, when you make a mistake, it hurts. But stand up, say, okay, I'm going to do it again. I'll learn from this. And I don't mean be arrogant about it. I mean, say, okay, what is this mistake teaching me? So as one of my teachers said, it's only until the person makes a mistake you actually learn something. And our schools will teach you to memorize the right answers, live in fear, play it safe, job security. Don't do anything that will embarrass you, and you never test your spirit. So the thing I loved about the Marine Corps is that we launched. There were some horrible, friends that never came back. It's painful, but we learned. We learned a lot. So I come back, I'm an entrepreneur. Every time I make a mistake, I'm saying, thank you. I made a mistake. What do I need to learn? What does God want me to know? I'm not being religious. Well, what mistake? What do I need to learn? So those are some of the basic lessons here. And the reason school teachers and poor people are poor, like my poor dad, is they think just memorizing the right answer is all I have to do. And so what most people do is what they sit here, they get a job, they go to school, they save money, they pay their taxes, and they don't make mistakes. They don't mind. So what this forms here are the four intelligences. This is called a tetrahedron. This is a volume. Your volume in here determines your, so why am I a richer person? Because I made a lot of mistakes. I've lost a lot of money. But each time it was a spiritual lesson. So, God, what do I need to learn? Maybe I don't know all the answers. But these idiots over here, they have to know all the answers. That's why they're poor. They can't make mistakes. Teacher, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. And you ask a poor person what to do, they're going to tell you the same thing. Don't make mistakes. Play it safe. Get a job. Put your money in the stock market. And that's what you should do. Because you haven't controlled this part yet, the fear. And then what happens is when prices jump up, you jump in. Look, I make more money when markets crash. When everything is crashing, these guys here are terrified. That's when I make my money. They're all getting out of the market. So when you look at this here, when this happened, I said, oh, that's good, because in 2008, when that happened, everybody was getting out, and I went in. That's how you get rich. You buy low, never sell. Buy low, never sell. These guys here, oh, give me a hot tip, give me a hot tip. It makes me sick. You want a hot tip? Go to school. So this here is the whole thing. This here is book number 2 in the Rich Dad series. It's called The Cash Flow Plan. It's book 2, about 20 years old now. Still valuable. Our schools, because they're Marxists, are still telling people, get a job, play it safe, don't make mistakes, do as you're told, pay your taxes. I can't help you if you have that in your mindset. This here are the smart guys, the A students. I mean, a lot of times they did S's did really well here. They did good, they become doctors, they become lawyers and all this. Fabulous. But they're paid not to make mistakes. Big difference here. So that's good. You don't want a dentist that makes mistakes. You don't want a lawyer that makes mistakes. But the problem is these people pay 40% in tax, and these people pay 60%. So when you look at the financial, these are E's and S's. They come in here, they pay the tax because they're working for money. So when these guys say, well, I'm going to start my own business, come down here, you become a small business owner, and you still basically accept that. It doesn't make sense to me. Never made sense to me. So anyway, these are my doctors, my lawyers, my accountants, good people, very smart. They work hard, most of them, but they pay the most in tax. So when I came back from Vietnam, my poor dad said to me, why don't you fly for the airlines? Because United Airlines was hiring and Hawaiian Airlines was hiring, but I'd be here. And then my mother says, why don't you go to med school, because she was a nurse, and become a doctor? And I said, Mom, they're smart people. I'm a Marine. Marines are not that smart. She goes, oh, you're right. So this is where I was trapped. And so I went to see my rich dad, and he says, learn this side first. The I is not investor. I stands for insider investor. Let me say it again. This I stands for insider. If you buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, you're an outside investor. So in 1974, or when I came back from Vietnam, he says, go here. So what I did is I took a class on real estate. If you start investing in real estate, not real estate stocks, I don't do that stuff. So I had to put my first deal together. I became an insider because I had to put the financing together. I had to find this, I had to do that, I had to do this. But I was an insider, and my first deal, I put zero money down, and I made $25 a month. I was now an insider. My brain blew up. Like, holy man, if I can make money with nothing, guess what else I can do? So let me say it again. These guys are investors, but they invest in the outside, and these guys invest in the inside. The next thing I did was I started businesses. So I'm working here on my real estate, and my first real business was a nylon and Velcro surfboard business. I lost millions of dollars here. But I kept growing here. So this is the difference here. Most of you should stay here. Most of you should learn to trade stocks, options, and do small real estate deals. But this here requires a lot more study, a lot more dedication. So Kim and I created the cash flow board game for people who want to come over here. You want to stay over here? Can't help you. Because why I can't help you is the problems inside your head. Your problems inside your head because you're not engaging all four of your intelligences. You want to play it safe. So the rich dad side is this side. This is poor dad side here. This is capitalism. This is Marxism. Up to you. I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but it's up to you. So the beauty of this side here is I'll show you how it plays out. So B doesn't stand for, it stands for big business, but it also stands for most important word, well, the brand. And when you look at guys like Warren Buffett, Warren Buffett only invests in brands. Warren Buffett does not invest this way. So all you startup guys and all that, Buffett won't touch you. But if you build a brand, the money flows this way. So I just, since 1974, I just dedicated my life to coming onto this side here. And today, I made a lot of mistakes. I've lost millions of dollars. But each time I made a mistake, I got smarter. I met good people and many crooks along the way. It's a process. But today I'm over here like this. And so when COVID hit, I'm making more money over here than I ever have before my whole life. The last deal I put together was called a Green New Deal project. It's on carbon credits. So I invest here. That's all there is. I'm investing in technology, but they're all inside deals. And we build them into big companies here. So basically that's what I do. But what I wanted to do is, what my mission was, is how do I assist you guys to go from here to here? And that's why this is here. This here is the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. You can read this. But if you play the cash flow game, you join a cash flow club, and you help other people, you'll get smarter and smarter, and you'll start migrating over here. So how much time I've got left?
I think we're about ready to wrap up here.
Okay.
15 minutes.
15?
15.
Okay, good. So leave you with this thought here. When people say, what can I do? Well, it's infinite. When you play that cash flow game, there's infinite ways you can get rich there. This is infinite. This is infinite. Your school teachers, like my poor dad, it's limited. Limited. So do you want to be a poor person? Listen to your school teacher. Because they're poor. The reason they're poor is because the reason school teachers are poor is they don't develop all four intelligences. And to move over to the B and the I side, you've got to move here. But it starts with the cash flow game, because the cash flow game engages all four of these intelligences. You make mistakes, you learn, you help each other, you keep learning and all this. You can get rich when you have four intelligences engaged. That's how you get rich. So I'll just say this much and end. What can I do? It's infinite. You can put so many different deals together. I'm always looking at deals on this side here. I don't want stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. You should. I don't like them. I don't save dollars. I'd rather have gold, silver, Bitcoin. I'd rather own businesses than have a job. But I had to pay the price for it. And the price is a high price. Very few people make it. But some of you are sitting out there saying, I'd like to try that. And you're the person Kim and I created the cash flow board game for in our books. And the Rich Kid Company is here to support you. That's why I love Richard and Veronica Tan, because they're supporting people coming over here. You want to stay on this side? Go to school. That's all you have to do. So it's infinite. This is limited. That's the difference. So I'll leave you with that thought right now. What can you do? There's more opportunity than ever before. I'm looking at deals. You can ask my company. I'm always looking at deals here. I don't look at stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs. You can. I don't, because they're boring. They're boring to me. The thing I like about this is the reason I like flying in Vietnam. The more dangerous it got, the smarter I had to be. Let me say it again. When I went to flight school, I went to Pensacola, Florida, and I learned how to fly. Then I went to Camp Pendleton, California, and I put my rockets and guns on, and then I went to Vietnam. Each time I had to have a better teacher, and I had to get better. So let me leave you with this thought. These guys always say, oh, have you got a low-risk investment? Got low-risk investment? Yeah. Get jobs, play it safe, invest in the stock market. Okay, thank you. The trouble with low risk investments don't exist. You can lose money in gold, silver, and Bitcoin. The markets crash, they'll go down too. So there's no such thing as low risk. But let me tell you the spiritual learning side. On this side here, the greater the risk, the smarter you've got to be. And the reason you get rich is most people here don't want to get smart. They just want to be told what to do. So these guys want low risk investments. They don't exist. And over here, a lot of high risk investments. And the challenge is, can you get smarter? Can you put together your own team of accountants, attorneys, and all this, and go after it? That's the difference. So low risk, high risk. No intelligence, high intelligence. Or you can raise your hand and say, oh, teacher, tell me what to do. They'll tell you, get a job, become a school teacher, become a doctor, save money, get out of debt, your house is an asset, and invest for the long term in the stock market. That's what most people should do. You want on this side, here's the capitalist side, that's rich dad. It starts with a cash flow board game, join a cash flow club, and practice, and learn. Because the higher the risk here, the smarter you have to be. The smarter you are, the more money you make. Thank you very much.
谢谢各位亲爱的同学们，让我们用热烈的掌声感谢罗伯特清崎带给我们精彩的分享。财富的4大象限，让我们在过去从书本上了解财富的这样的自由的法则。那今天也听到了罗伯特清崎在空中课程当中带给大家的这个智慧分享，让我们再次感谢罗伯特清崎，刷出我们感谢的掌声、感恩的掌声，好吗？